PlayStation users have reported that some of their games on the PlayStation 3 have stopped working. This comes after PlayStation announced that they would be shutting down many of their stores in the future, and unfortunately, it could continue happening. Let's talk about what's going on here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you like my videos to know when they go live. I appreciate you watching. Let's dive right into this story. So I'm using Video Games Chronicle, their reporting on this story, and I also have the entire Twitter timeline of what this person went through up to discuss it a little further. So basically, the first person that I saw who identified this issue was Christopher Foose, and there were other people who identified this as an issue. So basically, you can see the remaining time on his copy of Chrono Cross has expired, and this comes at a time when I believe that game was just re-released. So it is a little suspect, right? It's not just Chrono Cross, it is several other games. And this person for the last several days has been working to rectify the issue. Let's just go to their Twitter account really quick and see if they have. I went through that whole thread, but I don't know if they've actually posted anything about having it fixed. So Final Fantasy VI was patched. I do remember him saying that. This is a bug that randomly affects license files that got pushed to systems when downloading a new copy of that game. So it looks like affected licenses were fixed server side and update locally upon launch. So that's interesting. It does mean that if you download a new copy of a game, you do have a chance to get locked out of your games. Let's talk about what's happening with these PlayStation 3 games. Basically, as summarized by Kotaku, multiple users have reported that their PS1 Classic version of Chrono Cross now displays a decades-old expiration date that will not boot after being re-downloaded. I'm correcting them actually because it's when you re-download the game that the issues crop up. As the issue coincides with the release of the new Chrono Cross remaster for modern consoles. However, there is evidence that the problem extends to other older games too. On social media, users have reported similar decades-old expiration dates, preventing them from playing games such as Final Fantasy VI, Run Factory Oceans, and Unit 13. One Reddit user even claims that their entire PS Vita library has been made inaccessible. Sony Interactive Entertainment has yet to comment on the reports. And I believe The Verge reached out for comment, and a lot of people have been wondering what is going on here. Now, this is the first time where it's been a big wake-up call for me as somebody who does like to buy his games digitally. If there is a way that, I guess the publisher in this instance is able to update their core file and just make it suddenly inaccessible, that is very strange. So if you do have a console where you've collected a lot of your games digitally in the legal way, make sure that you have those games installed, that you've launched them once so that you don't have to download anything in the near future. Now, PlayStation has run into this issue with the PlayStation 3, but with the Xbox, you do need to initially boot that console and have it boot up in order to be able to access those games. Xbox also has a known DRM issue. Phil Spencer, last we heard, was looking into it, but we have not had an update there. But we're talking about what's going on with PlayStation today, so let's read what some other users have reported. So he was locked out of that game. Steve J says, what happened here? A game I bought years ago expired 1969. Really? How can I fix this? Should I re-download and install it again? It is under purchase download. So this was for, I believe it's Final Fantasy. That issue was corrected. I believe they reached out to him and they were able to correct that particular game. So something really weird is going on here. Now, Kotaku thinks that it is related to the unique epoch. So basically it's something to do with the time code of the software. And basically engineers set arbitrary dates designated as the beginning of an operating system's lifespan. It's speculated that the game bug is defaulting PlayStation game license expiration dates to that unique epoch. The reports yet again highlight the issue of game preservation in the digital world. And I think they're absolutely right. It is the first time where I have actually considered that. Now, lately, I've been downloading a ton of games on my Wii U. And I know what you're probably thinking, Wii U wasn't that popular of a console. But it's the last place where you can download all of the games that you had on your Wii onto your Wii U. There's a lot of games like the Metroid Prime trilogy you can only get for like $200 on eBay was about what I saw. It's an exceedingly rare title that you can get for about 20 bucks on your video game console, or something like, what was it? Twilight Princess HD, Wind Waker HD, games like that that are rare. So they're more expensive to buy a physical version of. Now, you have this opportunity to download them on your Wii U console, which is also expiring in 2023. So a lot of these places are just saying, hey, we're not going to support these older games. I boot up my Xbox Series X and I just stare at the Metal Gear HD collection all the time, which I can no longer download. I can't purchase it again, but apparently at some point I had played it. I do have the physical media disc for that one, I believe, at least on my PlayStation 3. But all of this is really concerning. PlayStation hasn't been able to figure out PS3 backwards compatibility. PlayStation 3 consoles do have issues with their internal components where you have to pop them open and usually replace them. And we're getting really near that point where the hardware is just aging out, right? Makes me feel old, but a lot of my friends have warned me. They're like, hey, Destin, I know you have that old PS3. I got the really good one with the 60 gig with a really good backwards compatibility, because I like to have a console where I'm able to capture from it for my job and everything like that. So seeing an issue like this where my digital games, like I got the Metal Gear collection, which gave you codes to download like the original PS1 Metal Gear digitally, Metal Gear on the NES, games like that are now, Metal Gear VR missions. So I have all those games installed on my PlayStation 3. And if anything ever happens in the future where they remaster Metal Gear, are all those games just suddenly going to go offline? If I re-download them, I don't like that this is the precedent that is being set with PlayStation, unfortunately, and I hope they correct it quickly. So I wanted to show you Christopher's timeline about what happened here. Basically, he's been updating constantly. He's been in contact with PlayStation. He does have examples of other users who have encountered this issue. This is an issue with one of the Final Fantasy games, IX. That would be 8 or 9. I think IX is 9. So you can see that had an issue. Somebody had an issue with Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. To solve this, the expiration date for games you buy is set 1 day before the unique epoch, plus some quick and dirty code to check if the difference between expiry date and current date is different than the launch date. So no new update on my situation yet, but having a great conversation on the thread with Kirby Zero Luis about the epoch time issue, learning a lot, and they might be hitting the nail on the head as to what's happening. So I don't know if PlayStation can fix this one, if it's an issue with the code of the game flipping over. Yeah, it's just so strange, right? I did try and boot up my copy of Metal Gear. Metal Gear boots fine. I haven't tried any of these other titles because I don't own them digitally. I own them physically, thankfully. But it makes me very concerned that those digital copies that I have a bunch of games on, like my Wii U, for example, are we going to run into coding issues? And it does bring us back to that conversation about game preservation. So a little bit concerning to see and unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. And it just gives you more reason to buy physical when you're able to. And it makes me really nervous because I just spent a bunch of money on the Nintendo shop. So I wanted to talk about this story a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully Sony fixes this sooner rather than later. It has been several days. I don't see any correction on that particular title, but I do believe Final Fantasy VI was corrected for at least one user, and hopefully games like Street Fighter 4 get corrected soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I do appreciate you watching very, very much. If you'd like to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you so much to all of the members. I appreciate you watching. If you want to become one, click that join button right there. Ding. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. Bye for now.